Can I get a little mic check? Little mic check. Can a man get a mic check, please? Mic check, mic check. What's going on, guys? I am pumped for today. Found me an extra monster out in the car, so I'll definitely be ready to chat with ya. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, click that poll. Let me know what you think. Do you trust the market's push through previous all-time highs? So far, there's 7 votes. 57% of you say yes, you do. 14 say no, you do not. You do not trust this push through all-time highs. And 29% say extended, but like the push. I like to see it. I like to read it. We're starting in 2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes. We'll do shouts out. We're going to shout out everybody here in just a few minutes, guys. Let's get this show started, baby. We got some very interesting topics. Oh yeah, if you're just joining, vote on the poll. We got 8 votes. Things are looking good. Sleek, shiny, sizzly. Pizzazz words, baby. I learned that at Applebee's when I worked there when I was a kiddo. You gotta use pizzazz words when you're talking about their food. I'm gonna use pizzazz words when we're talking about the news. I hope you guys are ready for me because I am ready for you. We're gonna be starting in about 30 seconds here. I'm pumped to see all our Reggies, all our regulars, our OGs. We are all in the building. Pumped, guys. I am pumped. We're gonna have a good show. Excuse me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are doing it, and we are doing it live just for you. This is the Bull Bear Brief. My name is David Worrell, and we have a slew of amazing people in the building. We have plenty to go over for you today. We have a little bit about crypto, a little bit about your boy Warren Buffett. We got some on Tesla. We got a little bit on what is going on with those Chinese stocks, PDD. We really want to take a little look at. We have a nice story about Boeing, what's going on with that strike. We also have some stuff about the U.S. home builders. We want to talk about Dow and many, many more things. So let's get right into this and let's hit up that Bull Bear Brief, baby. All right, it is good to see everybody. Dan, Bob, Dan, the greatest moderator alive, has already posted in the comment section the link tree where you can find me on all platforms, Facebook, Discord. If you want to join our Discord, it's absolutely free. That's where a lot of the family that is coming in right now is from. All you need is a big heart and a mind that is willing to be open to discussion. Guys, we have in the building Jimmy Bright. good to see you. Jimmy Beef Stewie, Norman Conklin. We also have Yosef and Sweet Zamora. It is good to see you. Erica has showed up as well. All we need is Predator. He is not on time. What the hell? Somebody go wake up Predator, please. Wake him from his beauty slumber, if you will. Guys, we have a lot to go over, and I hope you guys are ready for this because I am ready for you. Let's bring up the charts. We always want to start off with, and I do want to do my best to remember, where we are at in the S&P 500. Today is 9/19/2024. We are doing a bull bear brief. Well, the market has closed at 470.98. Now, in the after hours, it's came down significantly. It is actually trading at 468.57. So we'll see what that does for tomorrow. So now that we know where we are at on the S&P 500, let's go ahead and take a little peeky gander into what we have for you. I'm going to start off with a fun one. This is going to be about your boy Warren Buffett. I think it's a fun one to kind of get into just because I like the mindsets of your greatest investors. Some of them are just blow it, who cares, money's whatever. And then you have these frugality people, the frugalist of people like Warren Buffett. Now, this story has been told before, but I think it's pretty important to kind of look into the minds of these investors because Warren Buffett is the buy and hold kind of forever guy, right? Like he looks at a company, he analyzes everything about the company, and he says, if I buy now, what is it going to look like in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? So Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people in the world with a net worth of $142 billion, according to Bloomberg, is also known for his generosity. He has donated billions to charity over the years, but when it comes to his kids, handouts are not part of the deal. In the HBO Becoming Warren Buffett documentary, Susan Buffett shared a story that gives a glimpse into her father's frugality. This wasn't the first time she had discussed it. Back in 2011, a Globe and Mail article mentioned Susie once asked her father for a $41,000 loan to renovate her kitchen after she had a baby. She needed to make room for the high chair, but Warren's response was to tell her, go to the bank like everyone else. One thing I want to point out here, just to us middle-class people or lower-class people, I don't know anybody that goes to their kitchen and goes, I have no room for a high chair. I need to pull out a loan for $41,000 to renovate my kitchen. Like, no, you eat out in the living room, right? Like, no, we just cannot eat here. There is not enough room for baby. We must spend $41,000 to renovate. I mean, come on, really? Buffett was like, no, you're good. Like, you don't need $41,000 for that. Susie revisited the well-known kitchen story, explaining she wasn't asking for a handout. I thought I was asking for a loan. I was not asking him to give me the money, she said. His refusal still caught her by surprise. I thought, oh, come on, can't you do this? She shared. Susie jokingly admitted to her mom that she sometimes felt like her dad's legendary thriftiness might leave her out in the cold, saying, I'm going to be on the cover of People magazine someday, homeless, because my dad was like this spirit-rich guy, and, we'll all be wandering around. Despite how it might sound, Susie never felt like her dad was being cheap. I never felt like he was being cheap, or whatever word you want to use for him, thrifty, she explained. Growing up in Buffett's household meant having a pretty normal upbringing, especially for kids whose dad would become one of the richest people in the world. We grew up in a very normal sort of situation, kind of the regular father knows it's best situation, she said. She and her siblings got allowances, which they quickly spent on candy and magazines. She also shared a funny memory about her dad had a slot machine the kids would put their money into, but he'd just open up the back to get it all back. Now that is funny. You want to, could you imagine doing that? Like, you give your kids, you pay them in dollars or quarters or whatever your slot machine takes. You put the slot machine that's got like the cheapest candy in there, and you just get all that money back from your kids. Of course, my wife and I, we would always just put it in an envelope. All their money, anything that's going there, just goes into an envelope. So, but yeah, Dan Bob says, my whole house isn't even worth $41,000. I know, right? It's like, oh, where do we put the high chair? I don't know. But I thought that was a fun one to start off with. So I like hearing about frugality. A lot of people we talk about frugality on the show. Some people might get a little nervous, like, but I need my mocha choca Susan latte. You know, like I need all this frumpy dumpy BS. I like trying to go without. I feel like a pain is a gain in a certain sense. So if you can go without your mocha frappuccino whatever, and reduce it to black coffee. I mean, sure, if you want creamer this time and this time only is okay, but there's plenty ways to enjoy being frugal, right? A $41,000 loan, yeah, go to the bank. I'm just kidding. I thought that story was very unique and into kind of a story about Buffett. Now, one thing that we want to talk about, we're going to come back to crypto. We'll talk about crypto later. Let's talk about what's going on with these Chinese stocks like Alibaba or PDD. We're going to look both of these up right now, but just before I do me a favor, look at my screen really quick, smash this like button. I'm going to refresh this. We got 10 people watching right now. Smash that like button, and we are only one of you have not hit that like button. Elbow drop to you, smash that like, and vote on the poll. Right now, I'm just curious, do you guys trust this market's push through all-time highs? That is the real question. Do you trust it? Yes, no, maybe so. Maybe you like it, but it is extended. So let me know what you guys think. I would like to know your thoughts there. And then, of course, smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you like the show, if you like the commentary, if you like what I'm doing here. We do it, and we do it live, baby. And we do plenty of other while we are here. So let's talk about PDD, and let's take a little peeky gander at PDD, because PDD here, you can see, has fallen off the face of the earth. And why do I say that? Well, I always use this 200-day moving average as my gain. And as this thing continued to hit new higher lows constantly and was doing well on an RS scale back here in November, you can see now it's well below a 200-day moving average. So right away it says, what's going on with these Chinese stocks today, like Alibaba and PDD? Well, I can tell you right now, if we look at PDD and we look at BABA, which is Baba is definitely one that we might want to keep a closer eye on. Why? It's above the curling 200-day moving average. It's also showing new higher lows. It has a it has a structure we can actually follow, and a 21-day moving average currently that it's trying to follow. So this one, even though they both look like absolute dog crap, Alibaba is the only thing that looks like it's ship-shifting up right now, as to where PDD looks like it's falling off the face of the earth. Let's read in a little bit onto this so we can get an insight on what China is doing right meow. Norman Conklin says, Warren Buffett's wife complained about paying for a $4 cup of coffee at a conference. Yeah, man. Hey, I like that. I do. I like that. Because they're going, why do we got to pay $4 for this? At least they're, at least they're not like just burning through money. I don't know. I like Joe Rogan's take on it too, though. He's like, I'm gonna spend everything not spend everything I got, but he's got like 30 cars. I don't really know, but he's got a lot of stuff, right? And he's like, but why wouldn't you? If you had the money that I have, why would you let it go to waste? Enjoy it. So he's using his money to enjoy it, and so I like that too. But I like to hear how our greatest investors, kind of have their mindset. We'll read a little bit about this. This Chinese e-commerce juggernauts, Alibaba or BABA, also considered a barometer for the country's tech industry, is up in Thursday's pre-market. As we looked before, we'll bring up BABA, because if this is the benchmark, they are just getting off. Their tech is just starting to get off. Because look at this. Let's put this on the weekly, guys. They're saying it's just starting to get off. Well, it hit those all-time lows, right, or came close to it. So maybe it will. Maybe it will turn around here. So we'll see. The U.S. Fed slashed the leading rate by 50 basis points. We're going to hear about that a lot. The central bank benchmark rate between 4.75 and 5%. Baba's PDD holdings and PDD stocks are also up. Rate cut drive growth in discretionary spending from U.S. companies. It also could boost China's companies that investing in integrating capital incentive artificial intelligence technologies into the different businesses, including e-commerce, logistic, cloud, and more to drive growth despite the U.S. sanctions on the advanced technology. Beat down Chinese electric vehicle stocks, it goes on to saying, are also up on Thursday. Everything was up. Everything was up on Thursday, right? Meanwhile, China needs to help finding solutions to the U.S. technology embargo through domestic chip makers like Yangtze Memory Technology. However, NVIDIA AI chips are still making their way to China via illegal routes and tweaking other countries' export rules. Look at that. So they're still, even with the embargo, they're still getting around it somehow, some way, because that is just what humans do. And it goes on to talking a little bit more about this, but yes, I think China, I think Japan, I think everyone is going to have an effect when we raise our interest rates, because we're kind of the staple for the global foundation, right? So if America is starting to kind of dial things back, and it's easier for you to borrow American money that is showing that there is strength in the economies, and it does help the global economy to be more fruitful. So that is PDD and Alibaba. Now, I think these got a lot of time. First of all, if you're looking at a Chinese stock, you have to understand that there's already inherent risk with it, because if it is China, like we were here at these tops, the CEO for this, I wish I could think of the name off the top of my head, he just disappeared. I mean, China just came in and said, yoink, see ya, and this thing just tanked. And that was, honestly, was terrifying. That was terrifying, you know, when that went down. So, you know, we do have to keep that in mind. There's immediately inherent risk when you're buying a biotech or a Chinese stock. And if you haven't watched it yet, watch the Chinese Hustle. If it's not free, it's cheap. And it'll give you kind of a backdrop on how the actual market can work. Like, they're still doing stuff like this, guys. Watch the Chinese Hustle. Your mind will be blown. Dan Bob, have you ever watched it? I recommended you watch it. I wasn't sure if you did or not. But and then I figured this segment would go right into the China, because Tesla's China on pace for best quarter ever. So if you guys didn't know, Tesla opened up a their auto segment out there, and this just gives you a little insight on how they are doing. So let's just go over it really quick. Tesla insurance registrations in China total over 15,600 for the week of September 9/15, down around 4% from the 16,200 the previous week, according to data reported by EV Post Thursday, which 2 weeks, let me just put this over here. Let's see here. Tesla's Chinese vehicle registration in Q3 are also nearly 5% above the Q4 2023. Oh, look at this pop up. So far in 2024, Tesla's registration trend is up 2% compared to the same time in the key frame of 2023. Meanwhile, China's EV maker NIO is formally launching on its Envo L60 crossover on Thursday, with a Model Y rival is getting a lot of buzz. The model from the Envo sub-brand is expected to price well below the Model Y. So let's just take a look at NIO. I like how they compare companies like this. You have Tesla, and then let's look at what NIO is looking like. And you guys can see another Chinese stock is just beaten down. I mean, there is no heartbeat on this thing just yet. As to where Tesla has gotten up, it's trading sideways. It's looking much, much better. And that was the weekly, by the way. Okay, so Tesla's China so far in 24 and 24. Let's see here. Tesla delivers 63,456 vehicles domestically in China while exporting 23,000. China made vehicles to foreign markets in August. The U.S. EV giant domestic unit sales grew more than 37% versus the 46,000 sales in July, but are down around 2% compared to the 64,600 total from August 23. Through the first 8 months of 2024, Tesla's China has sold 587,000 vehicles, down 6% compared to the same time frame in 2023. However, in the January-August period, Tesla has sold 388,000 vehicles in China, which is down at least 1% from those 8 months in 2023. Tesla is benefiting from the continued 5-year zero-interest loans to buyers, as well as increased government subsidies for the EVs. These are currently running through the end of September. Analyst consensus of Tesla's Q3 deliveries Q3 deliveries totaling 461,000 units, up 6% versus the Q3 2023, according to FactSet. China appears to be a bright spot for Tesla in Q3 deliveries in Europe and in the US are not expected to be strong. Tesla vehicles delivered in unit are down more than 16% so far this year, according to Troy Tesla, who deliveries estimate the total data tracking are highly respected for among retail Tesla's investors. So the big question about Tesla is if it's going to do well enough in China to help continue to boost this price. That's the real question there. Or is Tesla getting too big for its britches and there's not enough demand for it in the US and Europe anymore? And if there's not enough demand in China, then you're going to see Tesla hurting much, much more. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that. You know, you don't, I always say you can see it in the technical analysis, right? In this, you can see we had this big daily downtrend. We broke up through it, came back down, retested it, and now we're heading higher. My question is, because the next stop right here for this stock looks like it's this $300 area. It's not just a technical area, but it's a psychological area, being a solid number of 300. So it's going to be very interesting to see it get back up into this area and to see if we can get through it. I would like to see a couple more higher lows as it gets tight before it breaks out and starts to head higher. That would be a classic Tesla move, but we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Let's see. Oh, Dan Bob, you did watch The Chinese Hustle. He says, yes, great watch. Oh, and thank you. And look at that. That's why I love our greatest moderator alive. Right here, he posted this. I don't know what just happened to my screen. I can see it on your screen, though. Uh-oh. We don't want this to happen again. Let me see here. Can I just do this? It was Dan Bob sent me, he hacked my computer screen. My computer screens are going down, guys. Hold on. I'm in a dark void. Oh, man. All right. Can we get this up and running? There we go. Okay. Dan Bob did send, and I promise you it is not a glitch. Here it is. Oh, no. It happened again. Maybe it is. It is the Chinese Hustle. And I think that link is a bad link because that's twice now I clicked on it. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Let's see if I can fix this. Yeah. I'm glitching on my end, guys. You have to bear with me here for just a second. I do apologize. We have a couple more stories for you. If I can get everything set up properly. Maybe I should have restarted the computer before this happened. No signal detected. All right, we're going to do this, guys. We're going to see what happens. Bear with me. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Bear with me, guys. Are we still alive? No, don't go down. Come on. Hey, are we back, baby? Well, we're sort of back. This screen's still whopper-jawed, but yeah, we got to be a little bit careful. The link is good. No, yeah, I think it's my computer screens. They're being kind of wonky. Maybe I can just do my best. Hey, that's all I can do, right? Let's talk about the Dow, guys, because I think it's interesting. When I was reading this, I thought to myself, wow, I knew much less about the Dow than I actually previously thought. So let's bring up the Dow Jones Industrial if I can. Let me just see if I can do this on the screen. I'm glad I have this all set up before. But you can see the Dow Jones Industrial has been doing very, very good job lately, really showing leadership. And the weird thing is it does not hold any of your leading stocks. And that's what I wanted to point out to you guys, like right here. Dow lacks the AI stocks, puts blue chip index behind the curve. So it's saying behind the curve, but if you look at the Dow Jones Industrial, it's nowhere near behind the curve. It's been pulling off tremendous feats for quite some time. So I'm going to read this to you guys, and we are going to give a little chat about it. So, the rise of artificial intelligence has recorded the American stock market pushing the likes of NVIDIA Corporation and other chip makers into the upper echelons. There's one storied corner, though, where the changes worked by AI haven't shown up: the Dow Jones Industrial Average. 128-year-old blue chip index does not include NVIDIA or Broadcom. Alphabet, Meta, they're also missing. Much of what owes the Dow is constituted. A committee selects the 30 components and weighs them by price rather than market capitalization. The overseer tried to balance memberships across the sector, so tech is represented, but to some degree by yesteryear's titans, Intel Corp, Cisco System, and International Business Machines. The trio are all long-term underperformers among large cap tech. The emissions of any true AI play after technology has dominated market returns for nearly 2 years is again raising questions about the utility of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, while also revitalizing the age-old parlor game of trying to guess when the committee will shuffle memberships and how. With the AI economy is really going through the shift like the 90s with the internet. I think the Dow is missing the theme, said Nancy Tengler, Chief Executive Officer. That's left index behind the curve. So I do understand that. They're kind of they don't have any of it. They don't have any of the stocks that are booming. They don't have any of the leaders. But look how well it's doing without those leaders. You know, it's not managing anything by the weight of it. You know, if it's the biggest, that it's just going to take it. No, they're holding on to these ancient companies that clearly take a long time to turn around. If you look at any of those stocks that are in there, they're very heavily inflated and they're slow moving stocks, but they aren't a Tesla. They're not a NVIDIA. They're not, a Meta, which is very interesting to see, especially with it doing this well. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here, guys? Copper. Okay, so we have a copper story, a bank stocks, which is very interesting because of XLV. And we will have the market calm that gives way. Actually, we're going to talk about this BlackRock and Microsoft here in just a minute as well. Let's talk about copper, guys, because if you guys remember, I was very bearish on gold, which was a big no-no for me because it's reaching new all-time highs. Now, I did not short it. I did not take a short on it because I knew I just had this biasy that, everybody around me is talking about gold. It's probably going to go lower, right? Well, it did not seem to be the right call, which I'm glad, the technical analysis didn't really show me trying to short this, right? It looked more like a long, so I stayed out of it. The Fed focus on quashing inflation has been a major headwind for metals in recent years. Along with pending doubts over the health of China's economy, investors are now waiting to see whether the central bank move helps shore up U.S. growth and stems recent weakness in global manufacturing. Copper rose as much as 2%, extending Wednesday's gain, and was up 1.2% at 9,510 a ton as of 3:45 p.m. in London. Lead added 2.5% and zinc 1.2%. The half-point cut unveiled by the Fed Chair Jerome Powell is beneficial to expectations for a soft landing in the U.S. While most metals are solidly higher this year, performance has fallen short of a widely held bullish expectations, especially for copper. Chinese demand has been lackluster, and uncertainty surrounding the U.S. presidential election in November has further soured sentiment. There are now signs of improvement in China's copper market, with inventory Shanghai Futures Exchange tracks warehousing falling back towards normal levels. Premium on imported copper has also rebounded to the highest since nearly 2024 after trading below zero for most of May and June. So copper is looking good. I don't actually have any good copper stocks up for you guys, and I didn't actually click on them to really bring them up. And you know, my screens are wonky right now. This is Bitcoin. You can look at Bitcoin though. We could look at gold though, like here's GLD. You guys can see GLD is just powering higher and higher and higher. It's good to see that. We called this area out right here for you. That's that green line, that long basing pattern. This is the weekly, I do believe. And so it's just looking really good. It came down to retest all those anchored VWAP averages that I pulled from the previous lows and highs. And it just is nice trending higher. And gold was leading. Copper's now catching up. Looking good. Let's take a look. See here. All right. Just want to make sure everybody's happy. Go lucky. All right, guys. I'm just going to have to try and wing this. If you guys look at my screen really quick, the screen that's working, you can see right here we have this like button. We have a subscribe button. And make sure you vote on this poll. The question in the poll is if you trust this push. We went through new all-time highs yesterday and today. The question is, do you trust this push? We have a 50-50 here on the yes and no, but the overall is going to say that yes, most of you trust this. Now, some of you, 27% of you, saying it's extended, but you like the push. I think that's a good cautionary tale when you're looking at the S&P 500, guys, because if you look at the overall S&P 500, you'll see that we are doing very well at new all-time highs. I am bullish after new all-time highs, but we do know if we look at the 10-day moving average, we are a little extended, and that is okay to know that we are extended on this time frame and that we can wait for it to kind of pull back and retest the breakout area and let it rip, tater chip, because that's exactly what we want to see in this overall market, especially if you have a long-term investing account, which if you don't, I always suggest you start dollar cost averaging into the VTI and VOO and do not touch it. Let that baby build up and let it make money over time. Let's see what else we have here. And in just a few more minutes, we're going to end that vote. Let's go over two more here. Two more. I want to talk about this one. So I thought this was very interesting. Dan Bob brought this up. Microsoft and BlackRock want to raise $100 billion to emancipate themselves from the shackles of insignificant power to increase data center for their ambitious AI dreams. Now, when I read this right away, it kind of sends chills up my back because they already have a lot of power. And they're saying they need to relieve or emancipate themselves from the shackles. They're being held back because they don't have enough power and they need more data centers for their ambiguous AI dreams. Very, very interesting. So we're going to read into this. We're going to kind of skim over it. I think it's really important. I find it very, very interesting. Did you know Google and Microsoft consume more power than 100 countries? Generative AI electricity and cooling water demands in an all-time high right now. Experts and researchers say that the world might be on the brink of the most significant technology breakthroughs with AI, but there won't be enough electricity to power its advances by 2025. Key players in the AI landscape like OpenAI and Microsoft have openly been seeking alternative power sources, including nuclear fusion, to ensure their advancing efforts in the category aren't watered down due to a lack of enough power. As it happens, Microsoft and BlackRock have partnered to raise $30 billion to develop data centers for their AI ventures and the energy infrastructure to power them. For context, Microsoft and BlackRock are a part of the Global Artificial Intelligence Infrastructure Investment. Let me read that to you again. Microsoft and BlackRock are a part of the Global Artificial Intelligence Infrastructure Investment Partnership, alongside with other global infrastructure partners, which specialize in investing in, owning, and operating some of the largest assets in energy, transport, digital infrastructure, and more. It aims to raise $30 billion of private equity capital, which could help the group leverage up to $100 billion from investors, including debt financing. And in an interview, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink indicated, the need to build out data centers globally is multi-trillions of dollars to finance. This is just a great example of the capital markets building out infrastructure and building out the opportunities and new technologies. So this I found really, really interesting. We could go on to reading a lot about this, but in a nutshell, we have to understand that these are the biggest people out there on the markets. They really are. They are a huge conglomerate. Dan Bob says Darth Vader runs BlackRock. That's kind of how I see it too, you know. But you know, these huge corporations, they're just going to get bigger, guys. They're just going to get bigger. Big corporations do make me a little nervous, but you know, that's capitalism. You know, we obviously don't want one person kind of just ruling, but that's just what companies do. They try to grow. They try to get bigger. They try to make more numbers. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. What I'm confused about is why Microsoft is teaming up with BlackRock and other adventurers. Like, can't they do their own thing? You know, do they have to share the power that comes out of these data centers? Is it in BlackRock's best interest because they hold so much of Microsoft? You know, there's a lot to it, but regardless, I'm excited for the future, guys. I am very excited for the future. You know, some people are nervous or scared about it. I think this AI stuff is going to make our life so easy, and you know, I think the first biggest AI that's going to make the most money is having those buddies, like having an AI buddy to companion through the day. You know, where you can always just ask, it's always listening. And I know it sounds crazy, but people are going to do it, I promise you. And then any question that gets asked, it's going to like whisper in your ear the right answers for everything. I think the future is going to be cool, guys. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be fun. So that is the Microsoft and BlackRock $30 billion to satisfy their AI needs. Absolutely nutso. It says here, market calm gives way to stock surge as traders cheer Fed's jumbo rate cut. And if you guys didn't see it right away, right when we got that cut, the market went really high really fast. And then it pulled back, which I think is a great sign that we made new all-time highs, showed the market that we can make new all-time highs. It shows that there's buying power there. And then we pulled back to retest that area and showed that that area of retest was strong. So we have more than enough information to show that the market likes this. Now, yes, we pulled back at the end of the day, but I still find this area to be strong. Because if there wasn't people buying it up here, it would have just headed lower already. It would be a very bearish sign. So I like what's going on so far. So this is the S&P and Dow take all-time highs. NASDAQ also jumps in the wake of the Fed 50 basis point cut. Wall Street's major market averages rose sharply on Thursday, with the S&P 500 opening at all-time highs as it crossed the 5,700. Moreover, the blue chip, Dow Jones Industrial, also notched a new record high as it crossed 42,000. On an early S&P 500, it was 1.8%, the NASDAQ Composite at 2.8%, and the Dow was 1.2%. The 10-year Treasury rose 2 basis points at 3.73. The 2-year yield dipped 3 basis points to 3.59. U.S. stocks on Wednesdays were unable to hold on their gains and eventually ended lower in a high volatility last hour of trading. The Federal Open Market Committee trimmed its benchmark interest rate by 50 basis points to 4.75 to 5.0 on Wednesday in its first rate cut in more than 4 years, guys. 4 years. It also added that policymakers were in no rush to ease policy. The U.S. rate cutting cycle began with a 50 basis point cut, sort of move normally reserved for an economic emergency. This is no economic emergency. It is not plausible to claim Federal Reserve Chair Powell knows something economists do not. is what this guy's adding. Paul Donovan. FOMC expects 25 basis points easing ahead, but labor data will force a faster pace. So as we talked about the labor market and the shortage on work being out right now, that as I think what is scaring, we're not, I shouldn't say scaring because he came out very dovish, but that's why we're doing a 50 basis point. And I think with the volatility that we have nowadays, I think it's okay to do what he's doing, but I also am not an expert. I don't wear a tie every day, so who am I to say? But that is the 50 basis point. It's doing good for not just this, but as we talked about in China, it's doing good for the global stock market. Okay, everything is doing much better now with the Fed rate cut. I am very bullish until we break below what? A 21-day moving average. I had it marked for you when we were risk on for the S&P 500, and I have it marked on there where we were risk off. Once we got above that 21-day moving average, you guys knew I was risk on. We've been looking and searching for the best stocks that are out there, and we talked about those yesterday, so you're more than welcome to watch that. But yes, guys, do we have any questions, any comments, any concerns, anything we want to talk about before we split? Let me know now or forever hold your peace. If you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button, because that is how I stay alive in this YouTube game. I got to thank everybody out there that stops in, that says hi, that watches, that gives me those watch time hours, that's been staying so dedicated to this channel, that shows up for the Discord meetings, that shows up on time. Predator, you are here. What's up, Predator? Oh, and I was talking crap that he wasn't here and he came in and waved. I'm going to say you were late, though. You were still late, Predator. But either way, I want you guys to know that I really appreciate each and every one of you. I love doing this. I have a passion for this. We were just talking with Zamora right before this show started, and I got to say it's overwhelming when you guys give me praise and thanks and all that stuff. I'm just so happy to be here because when I started, there was no Discord that was like this. There was no way to talk to somebody who kind of knew what they were doing, that could give you and show you a process. And so working with Zamora before the show made it fun. Working with Beef Stewie on the side and seeing his watch list and his trading come together. Watching Dan Bob grow from his very first trade to where he's at today. It's amazing to see everybody growing. And that's how I know that I am getting older personally, because I'm not so worried about my growth. Of course, I always want to grow, but I love to see other people's grow. I love to see in jiu-jitsu the kids that come in with their heads down that now walk in with their heads up and they're proud and confident. I love to see the people that never even knew what to look for in a stock coming to me and say, hey, why are you in the stock? It's below a 200-day moving average. It's like, hey, thank you for that. What am I doing in the stock? I like to see that, guys, because we keep each other true, we keep each other focused, and we keep each other on the straight and narrow. I hope you guys have a good one. This was the Bull Bear Brief, and I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome week. Stay green, my friends. Peace. And if you guys didn't know, now you know, baby. I like to walk you out as the usher. The Predator, my man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much for being here. Beef Stewie, I didn't even know they had that emote. That's cool. YouTube emote that says smash that like button. Smash that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it. Dan Bob Dan, I got to give you some love, dude. Thank you so much for getting everything set up for me, bringing all the stories to me, and helping me get set up before the show even started. You are absolutely amazing. We will see you in the Sunday meeting where we are going to get together all of our tickers. So make sure we will release that probably tomorrow at the latest, Saturday. But we're going to release to you the tickers. If not, download my scanner for your Thinkorswim. And if you have it on TradingView, totally fine. I will give you the list of the tickers to look through, and we'll get all together. Thank you, Beef Stewie. Thank you, Yosef. Thank you, Norman. Thank you, Jimmy Bright. I hope you guys all have a good night. Erica, thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching on 2 devices, thank you twice the amount. You are awesome and a sweetheart. Zamora, thank you so much for being here. And did I get everybody? I hope I didn't miss anybody. Let me just double check. Nope, I think that's everybody. All right, I'll see you guys on Sunday. Thank you guys so much. You guys have an awesome, awesome weekend. And Norman says, good luck to everybody tomorrow. Good luck to you too, Norman. Take care, guys. Oh, and we're going to end the poll. 42% say yes. We trust in this market, baby. Peace, guys.